You ever watch a moment on TV that's so small, a flick of a mouth, a split-second motion, and realize 2 days later it's going to cost someone $500,000? That's where we are. A sideline scuffle, a spit, a punch, a replay that's spread across feeds, and now Jamar Chase is sitting out a game he'll never get paid for. It began like so many late-game scraps do. Heat, trash talk, edge. Jalen Ramsey and Jamar Chase were jawing and pushing and doing the thing high-level competitors do when the juice of a rivalry game gets turned up. Then, in the fourth quarter of Pittsburgh's 34-12 win, something happened that crossed an invisible line. Ramsey says Chase spat on him. The on-field officials didn't see it, so Ramsey's punch was the thing the referees reacted to in real time, and Ramsey was ejected. But TV, sideline cams, and a handful of field-level angles caught a motion the officials missed. The league watched that footage, reviewed it, and took action. Chase was suspended for 1 game without pay. He appealed. The appeal was denied. The financial hit was blunt and immediate. Chase will forfeit his $448,333 weekly paycheck and an active roster bonus of $58,823, a combined loss of $507,156. That number is jaw-dropping because it compresses consequence into a single line item, one impulsive act, one ledger entry. But the real story lives in the messy human stuff surrounding it. We can outline the facts, ejection, video, suspension, upheld, but what really matters is the way reputation, rage, rule, and revenue collided in plain sight. First, the optics. Ramsey's reaction felt instinctual to a lot of viewers. A player says he was spat on and then retaliates with a punch. That sells easily in a courtroom of public opinion because spitting is intimate, insulting, and primal. Chase initially denied it, which is also part of the modern script. Deny, consult reps, appeal. Then the video surfaced. The NFL summoned the evidence. The league judged it a conduct violation serious enough to cost a game and a chunk of cash. The hearing officer, the same jointly appointed process designed to give both league and player a fair review, upheld the league's punishment. In short order, the incident restated an old rule in a very new medium. Any behavior captured on camera can be adjudicated after the whistle, and that adjudication can be as costly as a missed paycheck. Second, what this means on the field. Chase isn't a role player. He's a game-warping weapon. Multiple Pro Bowls, multiple All-Pro nods, and this season he's been the Bengals' best consistent target. Roughly 79 catches, about 861 yards, and 5 touchdowns through 10 games. Losing him for a Week 12 date with the Patriots isn't a tidy substitution. The Bengals will have to shuffle game plans, hand off more to the run game, target different receivers, and coach around the absence of a player who demands defensive attention on every snap. It's not just production lost, it's schematic ripple effects. Teams like Cincinnati build entire route trees and coverage plans around players who can bend a defense. For 1 game, that lever isn't there. Third, the financial and cultural lesson. The NFL's discipline sends a message. Spitting is not a garden variety trash talk penalty. The league has long viewed it as a particularly repugnant act, a personal violation rather than an athletic transgression. Historically, spitting might have led to fines. Now, with high-resolution footage everywhere, we see a suspension. The practical result is a deterrent and a precedent. Players will internalize that certain behaviors are not only morally execrable, but materially expensive. And for Chase, the fine print reads louder: a missed game check, an appeal denied, and a public episode that will be pasted into highlight reels for weeks. Fourth, the reputational calculus. For a superstar, a single incident can become a narrative pivot point. Fans will choose sides. Some will say Ramsey overreacted. Some will say Chase got exactly what he deserved. But neutral observers will see a sport that operates under a microscope, where temper is no longer a private matter, but a record that affects pay, playoff odds, and legacies. For Chase, who's still one of the NFL's elite receivers, this will be a stain, but not a career-defining one, unless it catalyzes a pattern. One mistake becomes a bigger problem when it recurs. If this stays isolated, he'll bounce back on the field and the narrative will soften. If it's part of a trend, teams and sponsors will start to shift how they view character risk. There's also an integrity angle. In the noise of talk radio and social feeds, you'll hear people connect controversy to conspiracies, rigged games, or director-level interference. This isn't one of those cases. This was captured on video, reviewed by the league, and judged in a process with an appeal. The optics of punishment are transparent here. The league acted because of evidence the officials missed. That reality, oddly, strengthens the league's credibility on discipline, even as it underscores how cameras now create new evidentiary standards. And then there's the human cost for both men. Ramsey lost his chance to finish a game for his team and will have to answer why he escalated. He'll also live with the social and perhaps the league's judgment that a punch, even when provoked, is a penalty that can hurt your team. Chase, meanwhile, lost game pay and will spend the next week defending his reputation while watching his team prepare without him. Both men will return to work, make statements, and try to move on. But both will carry this moment, one as a reaction, one as an instigator. And that's the kind of thing that colors future interactions and could alter how opponents approach them on the field. If you want to watch one thing next week, it's not the scoreboard. It's how both organizations handle the aftermath. Do the Bengals double down on discipline and accountability while scheming replacements for Chase, or do they treat this as a blip and lean on him to be their fiery leader upon return? Do the Steelers frame Ramsey's reaction as righteous boundary setting or as an avoidable cost? Teams are institutions that make choices about culture in the quiet weeks between headlines. Those choices matter more than any single suspension. Here's the final human beat. A single filthy act, a spit, translated into one of the sharpest monetary reminders in recent NFL memory. $500,000 is a precise, cold number, but the messy heart of this story isn't about the math. It's about respect and restraint, and about how modern sport magnifies tiny gestures into major consequences. In the end, players will probably talk about discipline and accountability. Coaches will watch tape and reteach composure. Fans will argue on threads and make up their minds. But the league has spoken, the money is gone, and two players will carry a small, ugly afternoon with them into every sequence they play from here on out. If you need one line to remember, in an era of 100 cameras and instant replay, a single split-second choice can cost you more than a penalty flag. It can cost you a week's pay, a game, and a reputation you'll be repairing for months. You ever see a highlight clip and think, that's career-ending energy, but the headline that follows is somehow worse? Jamar Chase, one of the NFL's brightest, most electric playmakers, is about to miss a game, and it's not for injury. It's because he's been suspended for spitting at Jalen Ramsey, an incident that will cost him more than $500,000 and hand the Cincinnati Bengals one more headache in a season already leaking steam. Reuters, let's not pretend this is small. The league upheld a one-game suspension after video surfaced showing Chase spitting in Ramsey's direction. That video flipped a late-game scuffle into something the NFL couldn't ignore, and an appeals officer agreed the conduct crossed the line. This isn't a fine. This is a formal discipline that removes him from the field and from his paycheck, Reuters. How much are we talking? The math here slaps. Chase will forfeit his weekly game check of $448,333 and an active game bonus of $58,823, a total haircut of $507,156 for the missed game. That's not locker room pocket change. That's rent, college savings, endorsements, and a reminder that actions have immediate, very public consequences in professional sports. ESPN.com, if you only caught the 10-second clip, here's the broader canvas. The incident happened late in Cincinnati's 34